Tyrone and Pam Bird, and let's talk boundaries, shall we? Today, we want to give you 8 tips on how to use the game of chess in order to set the right boundaries. So, we're going to have 8 steps for you, and I want to first of all start out by giving Tyrone an opportunity to share with you the game of chess and why it's so important to learn how to play the game of chess so that you are able to set the right boundaries. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you click that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of the videos that we have for you on talking about setting the right boundaries, setting healthy boundaries. So I'm going to start out with Tyrone. Tyrone, if you could just kind of tell them a little bit about the game of chess and how do you play it?
Well, first of all, when you're looking at a game of chess, you're playing with different men, a different type of what we call a king, a bishop, a queen, and so forth. And the object of the game is to get your opponent into checkmate. That means that the game is over and you won. Now, when you look at it in terms of life, we're not talking about winners and losers in life or getting your opponent to lose in life. What we're talking about is making sure you set healthy boundaries, using the game of chess to think so that you don't get set in a position or get checkmate on your life and your decisions about your goals.
Absolutely. And now I played chess when I was younger, but there's one of the reasons that a lot of people don't continue with learning how to play chess is because it's they think it's boring. And I don't think they truly understand what it can do for them. Playing the game of chess helps to increase your critical thinking skills and your problem solving skills. So when you think about setting the right boundaries, setting healthy boundaries, it's so important to know how to problem solve and how to use your critical thinking in order to set them properly. So I think we'll go ahead and get into those 8 steps.
Okay.
The first thing you want to do, and the reason that chess helps you is because it helps you to anticipate your opponent's move.
Right. And when you're looking at anticipating your opponent's move, basically what you want to do is think before you speak. So when you're anticipating your opponent's move, you got an idea of the scenario and you want to make sure that you play the scenario out in your mind before you open up your mouth.
That's right. You always want to think ahead of time. And that's what chess allows you to do because you're so used to making these moves. Now you can determine, all right, what's the best move to make? And you can anticipate what your opponent's move is going to be. The second thing you want to do is what it does is it helps you to be more concise in your decisions on how you want to move forward.
Right, and when you think about being concise, think about a squirrel, an analogy of a squirrel. When you're driving down the road, the squirrel is right down the side. He decides to run out in the middle of the street, and then he stops, run back and forth. If you're not concise, you're going to get run over like a squirrel. So playing the game of chess in your mind and setting boundaries, it keeps you from getting run over, and you make the decision and make a decision and stick with it.
That's good. I like that analogy, Tyrone. And then the third point is it helps you, when you know how to play chess and you're setting boundaries, it helps you to be more proactive versus reactive. So if you think about proactive versus reactive, proactive means that you are being more intentional with the way that you're going to handle it versus reactive, and that is based on your emotions, which really helps you to understand that when you go based on your emotions that you may not get the results that you're looking for because you're being reactive, and we don't want that.
Right. And when you look at your emotions, it's not saying that emotions are bad or anything like that. Everybody has emotions. But when you want to think, when you want to strategize, you have to make sure that you check your emotions so that you can think and you can react versus to something or respond to it versus just reacting. Reacting is just going off the top of your head, making a decision, and you don't know where it's going to come through, but you're going to throw the ball on the court. But when you respond to it, you have a plan on why you're going to throw the ball on the court and where is it going.
I like that because that leads into the next point, which is number 4, which knowing how to play chess helps you to develop a strategy. Develop a strategy for setting a boundary? Absolutely. Because you want to make sure that you create a win-win situation. And oftentimes that requires a strategy. And when you play chess, you have to have strategy. And the reason you are building your critical thinking skills and your problem-solving skills is because your goal is to make it a win-win situation for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Strategies are so important. When you ask people, a lot of times we may be talking to someone and you'll hear the phrase, well, I just take it day by day, man. Just let everything go. If you don't have a strategy, the day is going to take you along as opposed to you walking the day yourself out, walking out with a strategy. So have a strategy that helps you think and help you move clearly.
And the game of chess, knowing how to play that helps you to develop that strategy or to create that strategy for yourself. And then number 5 is thought versus emotion. Now, we did talk a little bit about emotion, but it's important to understand that you want to use your head and not your heart when it comes to setting the right boundaries and communicating those boundaries the right way. Oftentimes we may allow our emotions to get in the way, but when we think it through, we have a much better chance of feeling more confident about the decisions that we make and communicating the boundaries that we need to communicate.
Yeah, and that's true. And just think about this as a moment. Remember when you had your first love? Your first love was all about emotions. It was all about the heart. It was everything. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, you realize that that's not what I want. You started thinking with your head. So you want to just develop the ability to still use your heart, but think with your head so that you can make smart, critical thinking decisions.
You know, I like that. And again, you're leading right into the next point, which is number 6. And number 6 is you have to journal it. That's right, writing, journal it. There is a particular style of journaling called dialogical journaling. And as a journaling practitioner, I can definitely help you to learn that style of journaling. What that does is it allows you to script out a conversation that you need to have to communicate the boundary that you're set. Now, the reason this style of journaling is so key, dialogical, is because you get to anticipate the response from the person that you are having that conversation with. Oftentimes you have a pattern of behavior that this person exhibits that you are well aware of. But if you're not stopping to consider it and to play it out like a script and rehearsal, then most chances are your emotions are going to get in the way. You're going to get all heated and the right words are not going to come out and you're going to end up reacting instead of responding.
Right, and I like that dialogical journaling thought process because I think about the movie Groundhog Day. Remember, the script was played over and over again until he got it right. Well, when you use dialogical journaling, is that right?
Yeah, you got
Okay,
it.
when you use that journaling, it allows you to play Groundhog over and over again in your mind until you get the perfect scenario in which you can go in and make your move and begin to set those healthy boundaries.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So now we are at point number 7. And remember, we have talked about you increasing your critical thinking skills and your problem solving skills. So you've gone ahead, you've communicated, you've done all the other steps that we talked about, all 6 steps, right? Now you're at the point where you want to step back and you want to analyze what happened in that conversation. Did it go well? Did it not go well? You know, one of the things that Tyrone tells me about is having an AAR in the military, which is an after action review. So after you've completed the action, and it may have gone well, it may not have, but this gives you an opportunity to analyze it to see where you may have made a mistake, where it didn't go the way that you wanted to, absolutely, actually, or all the way, but afterwards you get a chance to identify what did I do wrong or what could I have done differently. And you know what? You always get another chance to set another boundary. So don't sweat it. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. You're going to analyze it and you're going to learn a lesson from it and move forward from there.
That's good. I have nothing to say about that. She knocked it out the block with that one.
And then the last one, we started out with 7, but I had a bonus that I want to do for the 8, and that was to make sure before you set that boundary that you talk to someone. Talk to someone that you trust. Tyrone and I are always talking about situations where boundaries are needed. I'll come at him about a situation, and he will be my sound mind. He will be the one to help me to identify whether I'm doing it based on emotion, vindication, or anger, or anything like that. And he gives me a sound mind to let me know and to run it past him so that I know that I'm in the right place at the right time to set that right boundary.
it's best to bounce things off each other, because all of us have times where we're at the weak in terms of thinking about things and we're more emotional about it. And it's always better to have a partner that when you're emotional, they're not. When they're emotional, you're not. So you're kind of leveraging the field. So if you don't have that partner, seek to find a good partner, a good someone that you can have as a confidant in that situation.
Okay, that's good. Those are our points that we wanted to make. Again, we had 8 points on why it's important to learn how to play chess if you want to set the right boundaries. And as in life, making the right decisions is critical to success in any area. And it can't be more important than in setting the right boundaries to make sure that you're living life on your terms and not someone else's. Anything you want to add to that?
Hey, you've done it.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Again, we're Tyrone and Pam Bird, and be sure to join us, and you'll see the link below, on our Facebook group called Let's Talk Boundaries, where we cover all kinds of topics as it relates to setting boundaries. In the meantime, don't forget, click that subscribe button. You don't want to miss another video that we do. Again, we are Tyrone and Pam Bird, and let's talk boundaries, shall we?